Hello, world. I'm Dr. Helen, Chief Engagement Officer, yes, CEO of Dr. Helen Holton and Associates, and your host for Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. Welcome to today's show. As a strengths, resilience, and leadership coach, standing in the gap for leaders, especially women leaders like you, who want more for your life and your leadership, is what we do. Our goal is to motivate, inspire, and move you forward in pursuit of your goals, dreams, and desires. Your greatest you is at the ready for you to break through to your best you. Each week, we explore topics to discover, uncover, and unpack ways for you to leverage your strengths, the best of who you are. Manage your weaknesses. We all have them. So not to worry, you're not out there by yourself if you think so. And build your resilience. Resilience is your power to persevere and use to push through life's storms. And I promise you, you've had them and you got more to come. Resilience. With an innovative and heart-centered system with proven results, we help you achieve more success, less stress, and deeper fulfillment in life. Even in this crazy mixed up world we're living in today, I call it a VUCA reality, in overload. So what is VUCA? Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Yep, all of that going on at the same time. And our guest today, tell you a little secret, she gets that science stuff. That ain't my thing, but she'll talk more about that. We'll hear from her shortly. Tensions are high. Chaos and confusion seems to rule the day. Can I just tell you, Sunday afternoon on a whim, I decided to do some laundry and found out I have a busted hot water heater. Ta-da! In the midst of living life. Stress is rising higher. Look at gas prices, up, up, up. Stock markets down, down, down. The world's in conflict and our nation's divided. What are we to do? How do you manage the stress? Relieve the tension. What steps do you have to smooth out the wrinkles of disruption that get in your way? What does success look like? I'll tell you. An increase in your performance, productivity, and prosperity potential, or profits. Profits just seems like, such a hard word. Nonetheless, it's a stronger bottom line. And every organization, regardless of what sector you're in, is always looking to have a stronger bottom line. It ensures you that you have the ability to be a going concern and to keep going with whatever it is you're doing successfully. It's that feeling like being able to breathe easier during an ever increasing demand on your time, your talent, and your treasures. As your show host, coach, and convener of leaders, we'll talk about how you can optimize your leadership and improve your stability during volatility. Today, we're going to focus on stress and spirituality. Tapping into your spirituality is a successful strategy to take your leadership to even higher levels. Now, I ask this every week, and I've got to keep on asking it because I want it to become that question you ask yourself every day on your way to your best self. Do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? Well, I do, and I love it. However, more importantly, we want that for you even more because we love it. We want to share it and shout it from the rafters and help you get it too. Here's what we've learned. At the very heart of what you want lives a higher power, able to deepen your engagement with your best self. Imagine that. And when you get real with you, and I mean really real, you know what I'm talking about, not that surface mask that we sometimes put on to get through when you get real. When you get real, you're ready to get real with other people in your life, personally and professionally. Engagement's the key. It's one of the easiest and most effective ways to upshift your success with your personal unique path to be seen, heard, and impactful. That's what sets you apart from everyone else, your most authentic self. So on some level, isn't that what you really want for your life? To have a genuine sense of belonging, where the world gets to connect with the best of who you are. But our goal is to help bring your best to the world. And this is where we support and guide you to connect and engage deeper with who you are at your best. Along life's journey, you've learned some things, given up some stuff, grown up a little or a whole lot. Have you failed? Wait. Have you failed forward? And think of it in these terms. FAIL is an acronym that my good friend, Coach Denise, uses. First attempt in learning. Come on now, how many first attempts do you have that you do successfully or as good as you want them to do? So maybe they're little failures, but fail forward. Take the lessons from it so that the next time will be different. What's it feel like to start over? To give yourself a fresh beginning? Tracy McMillan said, everything works out in the end. If it hasn't worked out yet, guess what? Then it's not the end. The truth of what you want has the best chance of success when you stay focused and committed to making it happen, finding your center of calm, less stress. You move through the multiple layers of stress on your horizon. So our role and goal is to support you on your path to live your best life ever. We're here to motivate you and move you forward toward your goals on your terms. What keeps you moving forward from here to what's next? Dr. Helen Speaks, and we're here live on the Win-Win Women TV network every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you can catch our shows, our replays on Roku TV, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. And soon and very soon, you'll catch us on LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and in the private face group, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership. So it is our honor and privilege today to pay it forward through you. Yes, that's really important. You know, every time I say that and think about it, it just humbles me. And we at Dr. Helen Speaks are grateful for Paula Fellingham, founder, visionary leader, and dream weaver of the Win-Win Women Network that allows us together to share, learn, and grow, to motivate and inspire your success as a leader. So thank you for being a part of our community. Now, I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today, a woman I've known for several years. And it wasn't until we got into this conversation, I'm like, oh my God, no wonder I was just drawn to her. I know there was something really special about her, as is something special about each and every one of you that I hope to engage and explore, to have you in this seat where Dr. Gwen is. Now, I first met Reverend Dr. Gwen Wise Blackman through the AME Church. That's the African Methodist Episcopal Church, 2nd District Women in Ministry. She's an ordained itinerant elder, a licensed preacher, for those who don't know what that means. She holds a bachelor's of science in biology from MIT. Now, she's a heavy thinker from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Say that fast 3 times. A doctorate in pharmacology, and an MDiv. Dr. Gwen is owner and principal consultant of a biopharmaceutical firm. Yeah, biopharmaceutical. And she owns Gwen Wise Blackman Consulting. But that's not all she does. She's the coordinator of the Western North Carolina Conference of Women in Ministry for the 2nd Episcopal District and co-chair of the Wake County AME Church Cluster. She a sister after my own spirit. Reverend Gwen's been married to Reggie for 30 years and more, and counting, and they have 1 son in grad school. Reverend Gwen combines her love of God and God's people with her love of science. Yes, she sees scientific discovery fitting in God's plan for humanity. As she explains it, as we perform the process of peeling away the layers of creation, we will find God in all things. Welcome to the show today, Reverend Dr. Gwen Wise Blackman. Let's give it up. for
Thank
Dr.
you so
Gwen.
much. Thank you so
Now,
much.
thank you. Before we take a deeper dive with Dr. Gwen, I want you to grab your note-taking device, pen and paper, tablet, computer, whatever you use, because we don't want you to miss those nuggets of knowledge she's going to drop on us today about what it means to soothe your stress with spirituality. You ready to go? Great. Me too. Let's get to it. Soothe stress with spirituality. Dr. Gwen, why are we talking about spirituality today? Because we can. And seriously, we need to talk about our spiritual health. And to do that justice, we have to talk about spirituality. My morning began with this. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. And if that wasn't confirmation for today's topic, I don't know what is. Dr. Gwen, talk to us about spiritual soothing.
One thing I want to do, well, thank you for that introduction. That's very kind of you. But one thing I want to talk about is that we need to connect to our spirits. And that's where everything starts. We listen to that still small voice, that inner voice that's connecting with the spirit to guide us in our steps. So we ought to listen when we hear that we are being stressed about something. Either we listen to that voice or the voice starts to tell us through changes in our bodies. We will see those changes in our bodies that relate to us not handling stress. We will not get through this life without stress. That's the first thing we need to understand. There will be stressful moments. We live in community. Communities will experience stress. Our houses, our homes, our families will experience stress. And there's certainly stress on the job. But we have to connect spiritually to know where to take the stress, to dissipate the stress, to give the stress to someone who can handle the stress and not incorporate it in us.
Come on, Dr. Gwen.
Us. So as Dr. Helen said, she starts her morning off. We start our morning off. If you're a coffee drinker, if you're a tea drinker, you start with something that soothes your spirit, to start the day soothing your spirit, to get in the right mindset for the day, because the day doesn't often end the way it starts. Because at some point in the day, we get a phone call. In some part of the day, we get a text message. At some part of the day, something starts to add stress to our day. And we have to have something in place to handle that. And that starts with the spirit.
You know, you've said a mouthful there, Dr. Gwen. And what I heard loud and clear was we need to connect to dissipate. I love that. We got to come together to break up the confusion, the tensions, you know, and that they impact our physical body, but it begins with a mindset. Yeah. What are some of the ways that we can develop that mindset?
Some of it's what you put in your head. I'll put it that way, what you put in your head. Some of it is what you read, that's clearly going into your head, but also what you listen to. Some people listen to books as they're driving or listen to books as they are doing some other activities. For me, it's music. And it's not all Christian music. For my birthday, which just passed last week, I played Roberta Flack all day long. So we've got these various speakers around the house, and I can tell them to play something, and I have my own YouTube subscription. So they played Roberta Flack. I don't care what room I walked in, I could hear Roberta Flack in the house. It was my birthday, so it's going to be my music all day long. Everybody's just going to have to listen to it. I got in the car, and my phone was playing Roberta Flack because the music soothes me. And yes, there's some other singers that do. Don't get me wrong. There's some Christian singers out there that I love. I can listen to Tremaine Hawkins. I can listen to Richard Smallwood. There's so many other singers that soothe my spirit. But there's a spiritual connection in Roberta Flack's music for me.
I love it. I love
lyrics. Not
Mhm.
just, yeah, I love the piano. So it's not just the fact she plays the piano, it's her lyrics. So when I hear the lyrics, I'm like, yes, we're telling Moses to go up and tell folk that they need to lay down what Pharaoh is doing, because Pharaoh is quoting his lies and rearranging. And we need to say, let them talk, because
Woo, come
y'all
on.
talk what you're gonna say. I'm still gonna do what God has called me to do. There's so many other just songs that speak to my spirit. So it's what you bring in, it's
Mhm.
what you read, it's what you watch. I'm a geek. I admit it. I'm definitely a geek. So I watch a number of shows on TV that teach me something. It might be a cooking show. It might be House and Garden TV. It's PBS because I want to learn and continue to learn. But when I bring that knowledge in, I don't let it agitate me. I let it soothe me.
Mm,
Find the good thing in what you're hearing or what you're being told. What's the good thing?
yes.
When I think about the January 6th hearings, what's the good thing? The good thing is the truth is coming out,
Come on.
and the truth sets us free. And those who want to hear it and follow it, they will hear it and follow it. The others, you just have to pray that the truth will eventually set them free.
Oh, I love it. Oh, the truth will eventually set them free. But I love that what you said about music. I love music too. And there are different artists that energize and bring me back to that soothing place of spirit. Sometimes it's Mary J. Blige. Other times it might be Alicia Keys, so it just depends. Sometimes it's Marvin Gaye, you
Mhm.
know, that album that he came out with. I can't think, Let's Get It On.
What's
Or maybe it
going
was
on?
What's Going
What's
On.
going on? That
What's go-
whole album. Yes.
Woo!
Mm.
I mean, and these are times I think about Juneteenth and what that means in the history of America, and how I think back to Marvin's song, What's Going On? We still are asking ourselves that same question today. And sometimes that information to remind us of what we've come through, that we still got a ways to go. And something as simple as that can soothe the stress and the tension. Let me not get caught up like it's going to go away right away. Let me think about the progress we've made. Progress is better than perfection, because perfection says we might not ever get out of the starting gate if we're waiting for everything to be perfect. But we need to launch. And if you're launching into something better, something that calms your spirit and not get it riled up. I have a special playlist in the morning of motivating music. And I just love how today you have artists in hip hop and other genres that are not of my heyday of music that still have messages of inspiration, that I've learned that, it's good to let different in, because it expands an understanding that you have of your culture, which is really important. Part of soothing our spirit is also adapting to the culture. We live in global communities today, and multi-generations. The most dominant millennials and Gen Zs make up almost 50% of the workforce today. And rapidly approaching, they'll be crossing that mark in the next couple of years. And how they live life and the things that soothe and calm them down. Maybe a yoga class, or something like that. It could be kickboxing or whatever it is that allows you to have a different kind of energy flow into your being. We have to be mindful of our spirit. It's interesting. I love the Gallup Clifton Strengths, and they came out with a platform last year around the five elements of well-being. And career, like what you do every day, social, meaning friendships in life, financial, manage your money well, physical, energy to get things done, community, you like where you live. And I was listening about, the rollout of it on a podcast. And someone asked why spirituality wasn't one of the elements of well-being. And I was like, oh, somebody got them there. I can't wait to hear what they're going to say. And the response from Jim Harter, one of the co-authors of their book about well-being, said, well, they just envision the 5 elements encompassed within the realm of spirituality. And I said, okay, good save, good save. But my next question was, why not put it out there? Why don't we talk about spirituality? What's the big deal? What I believe with every fiber of my being is that everybody believes in a force greater than they are. Even the atheists that say they don't believe in anything. And anybody who says, I don't believe in a higher power, then make the grass grow, because you look at it and you want the grass to grow right now. Make the sunshine in the dark of night. Do the miraculous. Do those things, the signs and wonders that, no, we ain't what we think we are. What do you say about that, Dr. Gwen?
I wanted to be a scientist when I was 6 years old. I just didn't know what a scientist really was or what the terminology meant. I just knew that I'm an only girl. I have 4 brothers, and my older brother had this really neat science kit that I was not supposed to touch. But he mixed things together and they changed colors. And I wanted to do that too. And I could read. So I saw it said science kit. So to me, scientists got to mix things together and make things change colors. I liked astronomy. I loved being outside with my dad and watching the stars. I loved going to the beach and collecting rocks. I just knew that all of this was science. I didn't know what type of science I would do, but I knew that I wanted to do science. God put that in my spirit. So it was a spiritual calling for me that I had to walk in. But there would be stress along the way because there aren't a whole lot of, at the time, because now this is the 60s, early 60s, into the 70s when I went to college, that there weren't a whole lot of Black female scientists that I could connect with to see. The only female scientist I knew about was Marie Curie, because I didn't know the rest of the history of women that I know now.
I wonder what that was about. Just keep talking, but think about why we as women of color didn't know these things at a time when it would have made a difference.
It wasn't taught, and there were no books for me to read. I had a library card, and the one place my parents allowed me to be by myself was they would take me to the library, and I could spend the morning in the library reading, and I could check a book out and bring it home and read it. I read every biography I could find. If there was a woman on the cover, I read it. I tried to find biographies of Black people, and the only ones I could find were Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver. That was it.
Come on.
And then I read about Native Americans. Something in me, something spiritually told me that what you see on Saturday morning TV was not Native Americans. So I learned that there was a whole history of spirituality out there that wasn't being taught. The books that we can see now that you go to the library or you purchase from Amazon that tell our story, we did not have. I ended up taking a Black history course in college to learn Black history. That's when I got introduced, and I started reading authors on my own and creating, as my husband will tell you, I have a library in the house. I do. There aren't very many rooms where there are no books in this house. Maybe, no, the kitchen has cookbooks, books in the kitchen. Because I had a love for reading and learning and connecting spiritually, imagining what the lives were like for these women that I'm now reading about, who persevered to do things that no one showed them, but they had a spiritual connection to do it. And then imagining what stress they went through, because when you are the first of any, there's stress. When I went to MIT, my class was the largest class of African-American women to go to MIT, and there were 18 of us. 18. And there were, I think, 50 total which was the largest class at the time.
Mm.
So many of the disciplines that we were studying, we were first in that course of study. We were the first African-American females that these students and professors were encountering, and encountering in a way that we could do the same work. They were not smarter than us. And in many ways, we were smarter than them. In many ways, we had persevered more than they had to get to where we were. You learn, and from that experience, I have a dear group of sisters, not from other mothers, but a dear group of sisters who have walked that path with me to follow what the Spirit says to do.
I love it.
To relieve the stress when they encounter it, but to teach others also how to relieve that stress from a spiritual perspective, and to support each other in the various roles that God has given us. Some are teachers, some are physicians, one was a lawyer, some are also in science like I am, but we all heard that voice that said, go and open up doors for other people, but don't forget to let them know that you're a spiritual person. And don't keep your spirituality in your background, it's in your foreground.
Love it.
So my office would be decorated with things that said, I'm a spiritual person.
I love it.
And there are gonna be times when I'm gonna close my door because I'm taking a spiritual breather.
That's right.
From the stresses of the job. If you walk in my office, we're going to sit at my table, and I might have some mellow music playing that just puts you in a frame of mind of whatever it is you need to come and tell me. Let's calm down a little bit, and then let's talk.
I love it. You know, Dr. Gwen, I want to leave a couple of pointers for people that I heard what you said. It reminds me 5 simple steps I picked up out of my favorite book. And I want to leave them with you all today. Get your pen and paper ready. Number 1, be on your guard. Be on your guard. You have always got to be ready for the naysayer, that inner critic, that outer critic that wants to come and attack you and have you to believe that you're not as gifted and talented as you are, that you can do all things because you have spirituality, you have a faith, you have a belief. For me, it's God. Whatever that may be for you, it is that power and that force greater than you. Number 2, stand firm in your spirituality. Don't let somebody make you think that what you believe isn't true for you. And you've got to speak up and defend it, not in a derogatory way, not in an aggressive way, but just stand firm for what you believe and own that for you. Number 3, courage. You gotta be courageous. You know, to live with courage means you're willing to go against the grain for what you believe to be true and right for all people, not just the crowd that you're in or the audience or the group in the office. And if you've got courage, you gotta be strong. You gotta be strong, you know, willing to stand up for you, for what you believe, for your vision, your dreams, because if you don't, no one else will. And lastly, do everything in love. What I know is that love is the greatest force known on this planet. It trumps everything. Love, do everything in love. So real quick, be on your guard. 2, stand firm in the faith. 3, be women of courage. 4, be strong. 5, do everything in love. Because what you want and what you want to achieve is focused on what captures your attention. When you learn to capture your attention and focus on what you want best, what is your North Star, that's where success comes from. It starts with a mindset, as Dr. Gwen said, and it begins with you. So join the community of Dr. Helen Speaks, Strengths, Resilience, and Leadership here on the Win-Win Women TV network, Roku TV, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, where together we'll work with you to live your best life ever, doing what you do best every day. And let's give it up one more time for Dr. Gwen, who has just blessed us today with her leaderly wisdom. Thank you, Dr. Gwen. And we thank you all. And we'll see you next time.